Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into something I think every parent has felt, something really personal and, let's be honest, kind of bewildering at times. We're talking about those moments when our children, and this is true whether they're toddlers or full-grown adults with kids of their own, can just push buttons we didn't even know we had. So let's get into why that happens. It's a huge question, right? Just think about it for a second. Have you ever had a reaction to something your child said or did that felt just oversized? You know, that sudden flash of anger or a huge wave of anxiety that seems to come out of nowhere. Where does that intensity really come from? Well, the answer, and this is the key, is usually not in the present moment at all. You see, these really powerful emotions, they feel so disproportionate because they aren't just about what's happening right now. They're actually echoes from our own past. Your reaction isn't just about your adult son being late for a family dinner. It's about a much older, deeper memory being woken up inside of you. Now, to really get this, we have to meet a key figure inside our own minds, the inner child. And no, this isn't just some fluffy, abstract idea. It's a very real part of our psyche, and it holds the key to why we have these intense reactions. So what is the inner child? Well, think of it as the unhealed part of you. It's the little kid version of you that still remembers what it felt like to be unheard, or maybe unseen, or completely overwhelmed. That part of you is still holding on to those raw emotions, the fear, the loneliness, the helplessness, long after we've become adults. And here's where it all connects. Picture your child's emotion in the present day, their sadness, their frustration, maybe their own neediness. Think of it like a tuning fork. When they express that feeling, it can vibrate at the exact same frequency as one of your own old, unhealed wounds. And boom, just like that old feeling is alive and roaring in the present moment. This whole process actually has a name. It's called parental projection. It's basically the psychological mechanism that takes the pain from our past and just superimposes it right onto our present reality, especially onto our relationship with our child. Let's break down how that actually works step by step. Okay, so check out this chain reaction. It all starts with step 1. Your child does or says something. Step 2, that action hits a nerve and activates one of your old wounds. That leads directly to step 3. You have a big, disproportionate emotional response. And what happens next? Step 4, you get this powerful, unconscious urge to shut it down, to silence or control their expression. Because really, facing that feeling is just too painful for your own inner child. So how can you tell when this is happening to you? I mean, what are the telltale signs, the emotional fingerprints left at the scene of the crime, so to speak? Let's look at some of the specific clues you can watch out for. Just sit with this question for a minute. Think about an interaction with your child, and again, this could be your 5-year-old or your 35-year-old, where your emotional dial just went from 0 to 100 in a heartbeat. That feeling right there of being emotionally flooded, that is one of the biggest red flags. Let's see if any of these feel familiar. Is it that sudden flood of pure fury because something wasn't done right? Or maybe overwhelming anxiety about the choices your adult child is making? It could even be this profound sense of injustice or a deep sadness that surfaces when they seem to pull away. Sometimes it's just extreme exhaustion, like their needs are just too much. Any of these point to an old wound being touched. And this quote, wow, it really captures the incredible impact of this cycle. When we aren't aware of what's going on inside us, we unintentionally ask our children to carry this burden for us. We basically make them responsible for managing emotions that were never ever theirs to begin with. And that is such a heavy weight to place on any child at any age. But, and this is so important, here's the good news. Recognizing this pattern isn't a life sentence, not at all. It is the beginning of an amazing opportunity. It's the chance to heal not only ourselves, but to actually change the emotional legacy we pass down in our family. Have you ever been in the middle of a heated moment and suddenly you hear your own mother's or father's words coming out of your mouth? That right there, that's what we mean by passing the baton of trauma. In those triggered moments, we often react exactly the way our parents reacted to us, and we unconsciously pass that same pattern of pain right down to the next generation. So really, we have a choice. There are 2 paths here. On one side, you have unconscious reaction. You're just mimicking the past, passing that baton.
But on the other side, you have conscious awareness. That's when you can recognize the trigger, not as a problem with your child, but as a giant signpost pointing you toward your own healing.
And this is absolutely crucial to understand. This is not about blame. Blaming your parents or even blaming yourself just keeps you stuck in that same cycle. Awareness is about seeing the pattern with compassion and realizing that you have the power to stop that baton from ever being passed again. You can choose to heal.
So we'll end on this thought. What if these intensely difficult, button-pushing moments with our children aren't just challenges we have to get through? What if they're actually invitations? Invitations to look inward, to finally heal the parts of ourselves that we didn't even know were wounded, and in doing that, become the parents and the people we always wanted to be. What if your greatest trigger is, in fact, your greatest teacher?